The Spanish Armada's stormy doom. Ever wonder how a storm could sink an empire? In 1588, Spain's King Philip Roman II launched the Spanish Armada, a massive fleet of 130 ships and 30,000 men to invade England and topple Queen Elizabeth I. This wasn't just a navy, it was a floating fortress, packed with galleons, cannons, and Catholic zeal to crush Protestant England. But nature and English tactics had other plans. Off the coast of Gravelines, English fire ships, blazing vessels sent to crash into the Armada's tight formation, caused chaos. Scattered, the Spanish fleet fled north, only to be battered by ferocious storms along Scotland and Ireland's rocky coasts. Up to 24 ships wrecked, killing around 5,000 men, with survivors massacred or captured by English forces. Posts in 2025 share haunting images of rusted cannons from wrecks like La Juliana, found off Sligo in 1985. The Armada's failure shifted global power, weakening Spain and boosting England's rise as a naval giant. Fun fact, Queen Elizabeth's Victory Medal read, "God breathed and they were scattered." Could one storm really rewrite history's map? https://archaeology.org/issues/online/collection/Spanish Armada 2/history's 10 greatest wrecks/ https://n Wikipedia org/wiki/Spanish Armada in Ireland. San José's £16 billion treasure tomb. Could a single shipwreck spark a global fight? In 1708, the Spanish galleon San José, loaded with 200 tons of gold, silver, and emeralds, sank off Colombia's Cartagena coast during a British attack in the War of the Spanish Succession. Its cargo, worth $17 billion today, was meant to fund Spain's war effort, but the ship exploded, taking 600 crew to the deep. Lost for centuries, it was found in 2015 by Colombia's Navy, igniting a legal battle among Colombia, Spain, Peru, and a U.S. salvage company, see Search Armada, which claims it located the wreck in 1981. Posts in 2025 show ROV footage of gold coins and Chinese porcelain, fueling debates over who owns this holy grail of shipwrecks. The sinking weakened Spain's finances, tilting the war's balance toward Britain. Fun fact, the ship's bronze cannons, marked with Spanish emblems, confirmed its identity. Would you dive into this treasure war? https://timesofindia. indiatimes.com/etimes/trending/300-year-old mystery of world's most valuable shipwreck solved with San José 16 billion treasure/articleshow/121,775,216. CMS, https://ebknews. go.com/international/recovery 17 billion Spanish shipwreck 1708 begin April/story. ID equals 108,312,114. https://amp. The Guardian. com/world/2015/deck/06/ Holy Grail of Shipwrecks in Three-Way Court Battle. Titanic's unsinkable tragedy. Ever heard of a ship so unsinkable it doomed 500 souls? In 1912, the RMS Titanic, a marvel of engineering, hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sank on its maiden voyage from Southampton to New York. Carrying 224 passengers, including the world's elite, it boasted luxury but lacked enough lifeboats. The disaster, one of history's deadliest peacetime sinkings, exposed class divides. First-class passengers got priority while steerage families drowned. Found in 1985 by a French-American team, the wreck revealed artifacts like jewelry and dishes, now displayed in museums. Posts in 2025 share eerie underwater shots of the Titanic's bow, sparking debates about salvaging ethics. The tragedy led to global shipping reforms, like mandatory lifeboats and 24-hour radio watches. Fun fact, the ship's ban played until the end, a haunting tale of bravery. Could one iceberg change maritime law forever? https://www.marineinsight.com/maritime history/18 famous shipwrecks in the world/. Sultana's forgotten explosion. What if America's worst maritime disaster was barely remembered? On April 27, 1865, the steamboat Sultana exploded on the Mississippi River near Memphis, killing 800 people, mostly Union POWs returning home after the Civil War. Overloaded with 400 passengers on a ship meant for 376, its boilers burst, hurling people into the icy river or burning them alive. The tragedy, overshadowed by Lincoln's assassination weeks earlier, faded from headlines. Found in 1982 in an Arkansas soybean field, rivers shift over time. The wreck revealed relics like buttons and tools, now in a small museum. Posts in 2025 call it America's Titanic, with grainy photos of the wreck site trending. The disaster exposed lax safety laws, but reforms came slowly. Fun fact, some survivors clung to trees for days before rescue. Why does this catastrophe stay in the shadows? https://www.marineinsight.com/maritime history/18 famous shipwrecks in the world/. El Cazador's silver coin catastrophe. Could a shipwreck change a nation's borders? In 1784, the Spanish ship El Cazador set sail from Veracruz, Mexico, carrying a fortune in silver coins to New Orleans, then under Spanish control. King Carlos Roman III hoped to stabilize the region's economy, but a storm sank the ship off Louisiana's coast. Lost for over 200 years, it was found in 1993 by a shrimp boat captain, with thousands of pristine coins recovered. The loss crippled Spain's hold on Louisiana, leading to its transfer to France in 1800 and the U.S. via the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. Posts in 2025 show divers holding gleaming coins, calling it a treasure that redrew America. Fun fact, the coins were so well preserved, they are still sold to collectors. Did this shipwreck shape the USA's map? https://www.marineinsight.com/maritime history/18 famous shipwrecks in the world/. Nuestra Señora de las Mercedes looted legacy. Ever wonder who owns sunken treasure? In 1804, the Spanish frigate Nuestra Señora de las Mercedes was sunk by British ships off Portugal's Algarve during a tense peace. Carrying gold, silver, and spices worth $314 million today, it was a prize of Spain's colonial wealth. In 2007, Odyssey Marine Exploration salvaged 500,000 coins, sparking a legal battle with Spain and Peru, who claimed the treasure was plundered from Incan lands. A U.S. court ruled for Spain in 2012, returning the loot. Posts in 2025 share images of the coins in Madrid's museums, with debates over colonial reparations. The sinking strained Spain's finances, weakening its empire. Fun fact, the ship's cargo included 437,007 silver coins owned by merchants. Who really deserves this sunken fortune? https://amp, The Guardian. com/world/2015/deck/06/ Holy Grail of Shipwrecks in Three-Way Court Battle. https://vocal media/history/famous shipwrecks in history. Empress of Ireland's foggy fate. Could a shipwreck be forgotten because of a war? On May 29, 1914, the Canadian ocean liner RMS Empress of Ireland sank in the St. Lawrence River after colliding with a Norwegian collier in thick fog. Carrying 477 people, it went down in 14 minutes, killing 1012, Canada's worst peacetime disaster. Overshadowed by World War I's outbreak months later, it faded from memory. Divers explored the wreck, finding china and personal items, now in Quebec museums. Posts in 2025 share chilling dive footage, calling it Canada's Titanic. The tragedy pushed for better fog navigation tech, like improved ship radios. Fun fact, the ship's cat Emmy survived by jumping ship before it sailed. Why did this disaster vanish from history? https://www.marineinsight.com/maritime history/18 famous shipwrecks in the world/. La Girona's Irish tragedy. Ever seen a shipwreck that birthed a legend? In 1588, the Spanish Armada's galley La Girona wrecked off County Antrim, Ireland, after docking for repairs at Killybegs. Carrying 800 survivors from other wrecks, it sank at Lacada Point, killing nearly all aboard. Only 9 survived, and locals still claim dark-haired descendants trace back to Spanish sailors. Divers found gold, jewelry, and cannons in the 1960s, now in Belfast museums. Posts in 2025 share eerie underwater shots, with users joking about leprechaun gold from the wreck. The loss crushed Spain's invasion hopes, cementing England's dominance. Fun fact, a survivor's gold ring inscribed with a hand is a museum star. Did this wreck spark Ireland's folklore? https://n.wiki.org/wiki/Spanish Armada in Ireland. Antikythera's ancient computer. Could a shipwreck hold the key to ancient tech? Around 70 B.C., a Roman vessel sank off Greece's Antikythera Island, carrying treasures like statues and coins. Discovered in 1900, it yielded the Antikythera Mechanism, a clockwork device that tracked the moon, sun, and eclipses, centuries ahead of its time. Posts in 2025 share 3D scans of the world's first computer, sparking debates about ancient genius. The wreck, still revealing artifacts like a bronze arm in 2017, rewrote our view of Greek technology. Its loss likely delayed scientific progress, as no similar device appeared for 1000 years. Fun fact, the mechanism's gears are as precise as 18th century clocks. Could this shipwreck prove aliens taught the Greeks? https://www livescience.com/60915 most mysterious shipwrecks. HTML. Sultana's sister, SS City of Cairo. Ever heard of a shipwreck that vanished for decades? In 1942, the British steamship SS City of Cairo was torpedoed by a German U-boat in the South Atlantic, 480 miles from St. Helena. Carrying 302 passengers and wartime cargo, it sank at 150 meters, with 107 lives lost. Found in 2011 by Deep Ocean Search, it held silver coins and supplies, recovered in a record-breaking deep salvage. Posts in 2025 show divers with coins, marveling at the wreck's depth. The loss disrupted Allied supply lines in World War II, straining Britain's war effort. Fun fact, survivors drifted 36 days in lifeboats before rescue. How does a ship stay lost for 70 years? https://www.history.co.uk/articles/the deepest known shipwrecks in history. Urca de Lima's sunken silver. Could a hurricane sink a fleet and spark a treasure hunt? In 1715, the Spanish ship Urca de Lima, part of a treasure fleet, sank off Florida's coast in a storm, alongside 10 other ships. Loaded with silver and trade goods, it scattered riches across the seabed. Found in the 1980s, it's now a Florida underwater archaeological preserve, with divers exploring its cannons and coins. Posts in 2025 share underwater shots, with treasure hunters hyping its $400 million value. The fleet's loss weakened Spain's colonial grip, as salvagers then and now raced for the loot. Fun fact, the wreck inspired the pirate haven in Black Sails. Would you dive for Spanish silver? https://www.nps.gov/teachers/classrooms/129 shipwrecks. HTM. MS Estonia's Baltic mystery. Ever wonder why a ferry's sinking stays unsolved? On September 28, 1994, the MS Estonia sank in the Baltic Sea en route from Estonia to Sweden, killing 852 of 989 aboard. High waves tore off the bow visor, flooding the ship in minutes. Investigations blamed design flaws, but conspiracy theories, smuggling, sabotage persist on X in 2025, with users sharing eerie wreck footage. The disaster led to stricter ferry safety rules across Europe. Fun fact, the wreck at 80 meters is a protected grave, but divers still sneak in. Why do mysteries cling to this tragedy? https://vocal media/history/famous shipwrecks in history. La Trinidad Valencera's Irish Massacre. Could a shipwreck lead to a slaughter? In 1588, the Spanish Armada ship La Trinidad Valencera sank in Kinago Bay, Ireland, after hitting rocks. Hundreds of survivors reached shore, only to be massacred by English Allied Irish forces under Hugh O'Donnell. Artifacts like cannons and coins, found in the 1970s, tell of the crew's desperate flight. Posts in 2025 share photos of the wreck's anchors, with locals linking it to Ireland's Spanish heritage. The loss further doomed Spain's invasion, strengthening England's grip. Fun fact, a survivor's diary described the crew praying as the ship sank. Did this wreck seal Spain's defeat? https://n.wiki.org/wiki/Spanish Armada in Ireland. SS Republic's Golden Haul. Ever thought a shipwreck could spark a gold rush? In 1909, the steamship RMS Republic collided with the SS Florida off Nantucket, sinking with $3 million in gold coins. Rediscovered in 1981, it yielded thousands of coins, fueling a salvage frenzy. Posts in 2025 show divers with glittering loot, debating its modern value up to $1 billion. The loss rocked American banks, as the gold was meant for economic recovery post-Civil War. Fun fact, the Republic's telegraph operator stayed at his post, saving lives. Could one wreck crash a nation's economy? https://www.marineinsight.com/maritime history/18 famous shipwrecks in the world/ H.L. Hunley's submarine sacrifice. Could a sunken sub change warfare? In 1864, the Confederate submarine H.L. Hunley sank the Union's USS Housatonic off Charleston, the first submarine to sink a ship in combat. But the Hunley vanished, sinking with its 8-man crew. Found in 1995, it revealed hand-cranked tech and crew remains, now in a Charleston museum. Posts in 2025 share scans of the sub's cramped interior, with users awed by its daring. The sinking proved submarines' potential, shaping naval warfare. Fun fact, the crew's gold watch stopped at the moment they sank. Did this tiny sub rewrite military history? https://www livescience.com/60915 most mysterious shipwrecks. HTML. Call to action: which shipwreck blew your mind? The Armada's stormy end, San José's billion-dollar treasure, or the Titanic's tragic luxury? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What wreck would you dive to explore? Smash that subscribe button for more epic history tales, and share this with your friends to spark a treasure hunting debate. Let's keep uncovering the shipwrecks that changed the world.